How many of you out there, because I'm guilty as charged and convicted and did jail time on it, of picking the wrong clients and hoping, operative word, hoping against all odds that it would work out and you would be able to service them?
Hi, I'm Kortney Harmon, Director of Industry Relations at Crelate. Welcome to another episode of the Full Desk Experience. Hey everyone, in case you missed it, we recently hosted a live virtual event, and it was one for the books. We brought together some of the best thought leaders in the recruiting and staffing industry for 2 full days of real, no fluff conversations and what's actually working right now. From building trust with clients, to using AI without losing your edge, to growing revenue through relationships. These sessions were absolutely incredible, and we didn't want you to miss out. So we turned every single session into its own episode. And over the coming weeks, we're dropping them one by one right here. Each episode is a standalone session from the event. So whether you're tuning in for the first time or you were there live and you want to revisit all of your favorites, there's something for you. Stay tuned. You're going to want to hear from every single one of our speakers. Trust me. Enjoy. Our next speaker has spent nearly 3 decades in staffing industry at the executive level. I will include her in my friend list because I feel like I've gotten pretty close to Kim over the years. And she has included being an SVP of client services, global accounts at major global staffing firms. She's built and led strategic programs across the Americas and stood up the government solutions business unit. Today, she leads Cobalt Compass Solutions, a training and consulting firm dedicated to elevating sales, recruiting, and leadership professionals through the full life cycle. So she also brings an MBA, a PMP, and Six Sigma lean credentials to work, as well as bringing you concrete 10-step playbook for building client loyalty that actually holds in any economic climate. Kim, I'm so excited for this 10-step plan. I know you put out such great content. So with that being said, I know we were ahead of schedule. Now we're behind because of my computer. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to get off stage just to make sure I don't jinx anything else.
Yeah, Kortney, we spoke too soon when we said we were ahead of schedule. But it's great to be here. Welcome everybody today. It's wonderful to be on the virtual stage with you. Today, let's talk a little bit about a 10-step plan for client retention and building loyal clients. And there's a couple of reasons why I think this is important. First, I think staffing companies, by and large, do a really good job of getting customers. But when it comes to actually getting the client share out of them, expanding the accounts and keeping the accounts, we often do a pretty poor job of that, right? And I think all of us out there would agree that the hardest thing today is getting and keeping clients and getting those placements. So we've done the hard work. Think about how, hard it is to go get our customers. The last thing we want to do is lose them, right? So we're going to go through some items today. And I will tell you this, everything that you're going to hear today is either free or virtually free to do. It really just takes some time and some forethought and some planning and ultimately some execution. So to frame it as we go through it today, think a little bit about your business, right? Where could you add some of these things in? What could you be doing more of? What could you be doing less of or be doing differently? And at the very end, kind of challenge yourself, right? To audit your business and go back and say, there's a point here. This is something we're not doing and we could easily do it, or something we could start or stop doing. So again, audit your business, because I think we all have blind spots, right? Especially as we get into our day-to-day in terms of our job and we just kind of get our blinders on sometimes. So with that, just real quick, who the heck am I? Why am I even talking about this? I've been in staffing since the 1990s and was with a national firm, working at desk level all the way up to executive leadership. Group of us broke off from that company and formed our own IT contract staffing company. And we got that right around, 98, 99 million. And we sold to Hayes PLC over in the UK, a really large international staffing firm. And I stayed on with them for quite some time and have a good amount of experience and background in global accounts, national accounts, selling statement of work, managing MSPs, and also to public selling to the government sector in the US. And then finally, I started my own training company to work with staffing companies throughout the industry to help provide sales, namely sales training, from the full life cycle of the time you pick up the phone to the time you make a placement and everything in between, from junior level folks to senior level folks. So I want to bundle up everything that I've learned and the mistakes I've made, and hopefully I can fast track some people to get into staffing and stay in it and be successful quickly. So now that we're done with that, okay. So think of it this way. When you increase your client retention rates by 5%, you can increase your profits by 25 to 95%. And think of it this way. There's that whole cost of ownership, right? When we go out there, when you want to get a new account, you have to hire people. Labor is expensive, right? We hire account managers. We have to get them up to speed. We have to train them. They get on the phone. They learn. They iterate. It takes a long time to get into a customer, right? It's a high cost of acquisition, right? Very high cost of acquisition. And in addition, when we do that, it takes us a while once we get that customer to figure out how to be successful in them, right? We don't just jump out of the chute, sign that MSA, and then here it is. We're like off to the races making 20 placements. We got to figure out their process and figure out the type of people that they want, all that stuff. And that's expensive, guys. Acquisition and getting attention out on the marketplace from prospects is expensive, right? So oftentimes, while I know we have to fill the pipeline of new prospects, we've got gold right underneath our feet. We just don't tend to bend over and pick it up, right? We've done the hard part. Now it's like we squander opportunity here by not keeping and maximizing these customers, right? And another stat with that is, that goes hand in hand, is getting a new client can be 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing one, right? Again, going back to, we got to hire people for this. Labor is expensive. We've got to finally get them up to speed, finally get that customer in the door, learn how to work with them. So it's expensive. Attention and customer acquisition is expensive, right? A lot more expensive than, expanding what you have. Okay. So who out here, has ever been confused? You can type in the chat by the definition of loyalty versus retention. Anybody? You can raise your hand or type in the chat. Okay. All right. So there's two things here. Loyalty actually measures how satisfied clients are with your entire experience, right? And how likely they are to share it with others. This is what we're after, guys. We want them to be promoters of us, like evangelists of our services, to where they go out and promote us to other people. How beautiful is that, right? To make the sales process not so arduous and difficult. We feel like we're beating our head through a wall. We want them to become so loyal and happy with their experience. They go out and tell other people about it, right? Do some of the sales lifting for us. Loyalty also measures satisfaction in relation to repeat sales. And it also gives opportunity for things like cross-sell, upsell, volume, and exclusivity. We all love exclusivity. In other words, loyalty is about growth, right? And all these things are part of growth, right? Like volume and upsell. Now, retention is basically kind of just measures the transaction, right? It focuses on maintaining and or preventing lost revenue. And here's an example of this. Who out there has gone to a dealership and bought a car before? I think we all have. And I don't know about you. It's never really a good experience. In fact, it's downright awful. And it's something I really dread actually doing. But here's the deal. I'm not loyal to a dealership. Let's say I want to go and buy a new Infiniti or something like that. It's not like I'm loyal to the dealership. I just go there because I know I've got to, because I've got to go get this car. But if another dealership across town had a better deal and gave me a better end-to-end experience, I would certainly jump, right? So difference between retention and loyalty. Retention, I'll probably go buy the car of that same dealer because it's closer to my house, but I would jump. I'm not loyal. I'd go across town if someone could ensure me a better experience end to end. Okay. Makes sense. We're after the loyalty, right? Build up those evangelists, those advocates, those promoters. Okay. All right, guys, here's a very important slide. How many of you out there, because I'm guilty as charged and convicted and did jail time on it, of picking the wrong clients and hoping, operative word, hoping against all odds that it would work out and you would be able to service them, right? Well, let me tell you something. What I've learned, hope is for small children and the Pope, right? It's not really a strategy and rarely does it work out if you pick the wrong clients to begin with, right? So retention starts long before the first placement. It starts with selecting clients that match your ideal customer profile. Please focus on clients that are going to align to your strengths, align to your delivery model, align to your geography, and try to stay away from those transactional relationships where they don't value you and value what you do and value the service that we're bringing to their organization, right? And also, conversely, if you leave a client and you politely fire a client, as I say, track why they aren't a match for your model and revisit them, annually because dynamics change. So, for instance, as an example, at one point we worked with IBM and the markup was so low, we said, hey, we should have never signed up for this in the first place. We can't service it. We're drowning. And quite honestly, we don't want to give away our contract inventory of candidates at this low markup. So we basically sat down, had a conversation, and said, hey, we can't be a good partner. Sorry, let's revisit it. But revisit because dynamics change, right? People leave, programs change, bill rates change, markups change. So if you do, exit a customer proactively, definitely don't write them off forever. Go back and revisit it and keep it warm and see if it now becomes an ideal customer. But guys, I think this is a key slide. I have done it. We've all done it. And there's an opportunity cost here. We squander time, right, on the wrong customers trying to make it work when we could be aiming those resources, right? Candidates, recruiters, account managers at the right customers. So again, guys, it all starts here. Do an inventory. We're at the end of Q1, an inventory of your customers. Which ones are brutal, total time wasters that don't match your model and don't value you? Get a plan together to exit them because you're really doing yourself and them a disservice, right? Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. Challenge yourself, exit the bad clients. All right. So, do any of you here, you can raise your hand, have a process to collect and use client feedback? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Because number one, collecting client feedback. I mentioned earlier, we all kind of have our blind spots, right? And sometimes it's hard to know how our customers feel about us or what they like or dislike if we don't ask, right? They're not automatically going to tell us if we don't ask. So implement a process and a frequency to get feedback from them. And I get it, guys. It can be hard to hear that your baby is ugly, right? We've all kind of been there and we cringe, but it helps us get better. Okay. But it's not all negative, right? There's also, you can find trends in client behavior and opportunities to enhance service. So there's many different ways to do this, right? You can do, online surveys, you can do in person, you can do a combination of both. At our company, we did a combination of both. And I'll tell you what, I'm amazed at what we learned. We found that, well, we'll get to this on the next slide, that issues typically occur in like patterns, right? And it's usually not that you're failing wholesale. It's just that there's certain areas where you continually have a weak spot. And it's great because now you know about it and now you can actually change it. So what I say is it's not all negative. You get to sit down and have this is a high level business conversation, right? You're reviewing metrics. You're talking about your results. You're talking about the outcomes that you've delivered for them. So it's kind of like you're listening to them, but in a way, you get your day in court too to tell them all the good stuff that you've done for them. Okay. So it's not all like negative and gloom and doom. And I'm amazed at the opportunities that I've uncovered in other areas of their business just by sitting down, having a business conversation about how we're doing that doesn't talk about a job order, right? Job orders, we got to have them, we get it, but that's real tactical. This is more of a high level conversation. It starts to uncover more opportunity for us. So what I say is, as we're going through this QBR, talk about things again, your metrics, your results, what you're delivering. And then also review your onboarding process and your retention of your placements. This is where staffing companies oftentimes fall down. I know we were falling down big time when it came to onboarding, and we had some major bad processes there, right? Talk about your hiring plans. Okay. What's that look like for the rest of the year? They're going to know this type of information for the most part. Get an action plan together to correct your issues and then follow up to ensure it's working. There's nothing worse, guys. If they tell you that there are issues and problems, let's say it's with delivery in your Dallas, Texas office, that you say you're going to fix it and you don't do it, right? Get an action plan together to address the issues and then follow up long term. But guys, here's what I like to ask. Okay. There's a couple questions here I like to ask and on this in the next slide. Number one, if we lost your business tomorrow, why would it happen? Hmm. Okay. Kind of gets them thinking. It's pretty darn clear they can't be evasive on that. And then this next slide, whoever asked this, because guys, I have learned so much from asking this question. Who's the top staffing firm that you work with? What sets them apart? Right? And where do we rank among your providers? And guys, here's the deal. If you're ranking number 9 out of number 10, you got a big problem because when they go and cull that list down and cut it back, you're probably not going to be a provider anymore, right? So, who asked something like this? Do you feel like that would be easy for you to ask? As you move through a client feedback type of scenario, if you don't remember anything else, remember these 3 questions, right? If we lost your business tomorrow, why would it happen? Who's your top staffing firm and why, right? And where do we rank among your providers? This was eye-opening for me because when I worked large national accounts, I often found out we were not in the top 10. We were not in some cases in the top 20. And we either had to make a decision to, not work with that client anymore because we couldn't be successful, or we had to dig in and figure out how to do it and how to do it right. So again, guys, challenge yourself, add this into the mix when you start to have questions with your clients. Okay. All right. So number 2, what do we think number 2 is? Number 2 is kind of connected to number 1. Step number 2. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Ask for regular feedback from all the buyers using your service. And why do you think this is? Think about it a minute. And type in the chat if you would like to. I made a mistake early on of kind of going to the buyer or the user that, I hate to say it, that I thought liked us, liked me, liked our service. And what you find out is, depending on who the buyer is, whether it's say an MSP or a hiring manager or upper level leadership, they're all going to have a different experience with you, right? So ask for feedback from all the buyers in the sale using your services because you're going to get a different vantage point and different information from each one. Don't just go to your buddy, the one hiring manager that likes you, that you go and hang out and have beers with on a Thursday night for his opinion of you. Really go get a wide variety of opinions because they're all looking out from a different vantage point. And guys, I'll tell you, if you're working a big account and you're working with an MSP and you're working with procurement, you definitely need to get their feedback as well because they've got different buying influences and different things that are important to them, like process, compliance, and cost. Whereas your managers are looking at things more like, delivery and speed. So feedback from all the buyers that are in that process. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. So I almost jumped ahead. Number 2, which ties into number 1, analyze your turnover metrics, right? Track why people are leaving and recognize your patterns in your categories to address. As an example, when we were scoring poorly, what we learned is we had a problem with our national recruiting center, and it was actually very specific in certain cities. So it's going to give you a lens and a view into patterns and things and areas and categories to address, right? And I think what I learned is that when clients leave when they feel unheard and the issues are continual. I mean, it's rare that one mistake, I think, is going to go and get you kicked out or get you kind of blacklisted. It's usually this habitual thing of issues where they feel unheard, they tell you about it, and then we don't fix it and we don't do anything, right? So again, don't make that mistake. If there's something wrong, address it and let them know how you're addressing it, okay? And then this last bullet, make sure if you're going through this process and getting feedback and analyzing turnover metrics, that your team is aware of all the issues. Share those results with them because your team needs to be locked, loaded, and prepared to talk about this when they go out to the client site in the future. Hey, we talked about XYZ when we were getting feedback from you, and here's what we're doing, actively working to improve. Make sure you share it with your team. I see this happen so many times in organizations that are in mid-size. Management's up here operating on, I know what the issues are, I know how to fix them, here's what we're doing. And then other folks maybe aren't, right? They don't know that because they're working at the desk level. Okay. All right. Are you a generalist or are you a specialist? How would you rate yourself? Everybody out there in the chat. Okay. All right. So I'm not saying go out and get a PhD, guys. You don't need it. There's tons of information out there. I think the days of the generalist are kind of dead, because then it just makes you like the 25,000 other staffing firms that are out there. Become a student of their industry and their business through continuous learning, right, guys? Understand the industry. It's easy to go out there, whether it's Chat GPT, industry periodicals. There's so much published information that's totally free where you can go and start to understand their top challenges and regulations and compliance that drive their hiring, so you can speak intelligently to it. There's no value in me calling up going, hey, Kortney, it's Kim again. How you doing? Have any jobs for me? Kortney's going, oh my God, there she is again. She's useless, right? But if I understand that Kortney's in the DoD federal integrator space, and I understand that she is struggling to go and get secret cleared people, top secret cleared people, that's an area where I can help her. I have a differentiator there. I'm a specialist there. My facility can hold clearances and find clearances for backgrounds of people that are in IT, and that answers her needs. So again, guys, understand the industry and then customize your conversations to their issues, to their skills, to their industry, and show your ability to deliver an outcome. Because what does any client want us to do, right? What do they want at the base level? Anyone care to type in the chat? What do they want from us? I'll give you a second. Okay. They want a person, they want a body to do the work for sure. But at the end of the day, they want us to solve their business problem. They have a business problem, make it go away, right? So what we need to do is educate them, and clients are looking for that now more than ever. Educate them on their industry, the trends, the issues, and how you're going to work through them, and how you're going to help them, and how you're going to give them a competitive advantage, right? Because what happens? You become the low risk alternative, and you become the leader in your space versus the 25,000 other staffing firms. Okay. How's that sound? It's pretty easy to do, guys. All you have to do is read. The only thing I knew about government services when I started to sell them was I hate paying taxes. That's all I knew. But I was able to go out there pretty quickly and educate myself as to what was going on in state and local and the Fed space, DoD, through reading and getting fluent to have conversations. Okay. So, who here collects case studies? Case studies, success stories, examples about where you've done work? Okay. Challenge yourself on this one, guys, if you're not doing it, right? Doesn't have to be grand and beautiful. Just collect examples where you're showing your work with other clients that had similar issues. So, for instance, let's say I helped General Dynamics staff up a 15 Java developers in Washington, D.C., and they all had a secret clearance. And here's how we did it. That's a strong story to go and take to Northrop Grumman or to go and take to HP Federal. So whatever industry you're in, start to collect your success stories. You have them, right? I guarantee you have them. Put them down on a piece of paper and put them in your CRM. Kortney will love that. Make sure you're storing it in freely. That way you can access it, your teammates can access it, management can access it. So when you go out to talk to a new customer or sell deeper and penetrate your existing customer, you can already talk about your wins, right? And you don't have to fumble around and look for a piece of paper, underneath a coffee mug. Store it in the CRM. Quantify. How many of you, when you do this, have ever quantified? Like we placed 15 project managers. They came in 10% under budget and 3 weeks ahead of schedule. Guys, quantify the results you've delivered for other clients, right? More revenue, reduced costs, successful outcome, whatever it is, quantify the result. Because remember, you're trying to position yourself as that SME subject matter expert, solution provider, and by showing them what's in it for them, right? It's not all about you, it's what's in it for them. The fact that you're this specialist makes you indispensable. You're an indispensable partner to them, right? And that helps with retention and it helps with loyalty versus some generalist that's like, hey, let me fill all your jobs. Make sense? Okay. Who here, and here's one that I am passionate about, and most people don't want to do it. Who here does this one? Who belongs to industry specific professional associations and actually goes to the events? Yes, no, maybe. Put in the chat. Let me know. Okay. If you're not doing this, pick one and commit to going to an event once a month, once every 6 weeks. This really helped me, guys, to like when I was building government solutions out, to join National Defense Industrial Association, paid $49 a year, went to the lunches once a month, put me in contact not only with new prospects, but also people at accounts I was already working with that I didn't know existed, right? So here I am calling, beating my head through a wall, making calls, and the people were right in front of me at these industry association meetings. Makes prospecting an existing account so much easier. So who here is doing this and is a believer? Can you type in the chat for me? Let me know because I'm a believer. All right. Okay. Well, mapping number 4, mapping a consistent client experience. So I think oftentimes when customers leave us, it's because of misaligned expectations. They think we're going to be doing X, we think they're going to be doing Y, and we tend to kind of go like this, right? And it starts off rocky. Set expectations before the first placement. We want to use the processes in place, and we want to remove the friction, right? Because if you're consistent in how you roll out an account from the front of the office to sales and recruiting to the back of the office, what that's going to do is build trust. Consistency builds trust, right? You can't show up sporadically. So have a process for onboarding new clients, and identify who owns what and who's going to do it. So we didn't have that originally where we were, and we would onboard a large new national account. And guys, it was it was brutal. It was clunky. We started to just choke, right? And the first 90 days is really critical when you're bringing on a new customer, that it goes smoothly. You have the processes mapped out. The last thing you want is the first 90 days to be rocky and be inconsistent, because then they're going to look at you and go, wow, this is a terrible relationship already. It's off to a bad start. So map out a process, because when you're consistent from the word go all the way through and have a process for things from the front office to the back office, it really is going to be a game changer for you, and it's going to be a differentiator. Okay. Make sure that you're planning your schedule for check-ins and milestones with the customer so they know what you're doing, right? Processes for activities create efficiency, and the client knows actually what to expect. So, and the key is clients that buy in, tend to be more vested in the outcome of the process, right? We want their buy-in. So who here has a consistent client onboarding experience, and who here thinks it could be done better at your company? Anybody care to say in the chat? Anybody care to say? Okay. Guilty is charged on this one. We really struggled with this one until we sat down and tried to work it. But guys, this is where the wheels start to fall off early. Okay. Not good. All right. This one sounds easy, guys, but it's kind of not. Think about bad service, right? Oh, the airlines. Terrible. I mean, if you ever have to call them, I mean, you can do most things over line. If you have to call them, oh my God, forget it, right? The bank, you do things online, but I actually had to go into a bank branch about 9 months ago, and it was miserable, even after making an appointment. The IRS, oh my God, you ever had to call them? You ever had to call the DMV? Think about processes at these places, right? And about their service. It's clunky, it's slow, it's not customer centric. They don't call you back. They put you on hold for an hour. Think about all those things, right? And then think about your business. Be very honest with yourself. Are you easy to work with? As a company, are you easy? Clients stay with firms that remove the noise out of the system. Are you quick? You call people back? Do you email them back? Do you get back with candidates? Get back with clients in a timely manner? Do you get back with them at all? Or do you just leave them hanging and never answer? Seen that happen. Is it customized to how they like to communicate, right? Is it convenient for them? Have you innovated and automated? And guys, let's face it, with AI today, so many of these mundane, we'll call it rote follow-up type tasks can be automated. So what I'd say is it sounds really trite, but I guarantee you, audit your business, look at where you're not easy to work with, because I think all staffing companies are guilty here, right? And as an example, years ago, we had our contract business and permanent placement business split, right? So here it is. I'm working with them on the contract side, and the company's saying, oh, no, no, Mr. Klein, you have to work with Kim on the contract side, and you have to work with Bob on the permanent placement direct hire side. Clients going, that's ridiculous. I don't care about your process. I want to work with one person, one account manager. I don't want to have to remember two account managers, right? So again, that's an example of where staffing companies can kind of get caught up in themselves because it's easy for them, but not realizing that it's not easy for the client, right? So challenge yourself, audit your business practices. Where are you clunky? Where are you slow? Where is it not customer centric? Because we could all probably work on that, right? Okay. All right. Number 5. So we're halfway there. Number 6. Find their issues and eliminate it, right? Kind of, again, finding the pain. So guys, hey, don't assume you know their problem and jump to a solution, right? So you've been in the business a long time. You kind of want to, I'm guilty of this. You kind of want to jump to conclusions. You feel like you know the answer already and you kind of give them the answer. Hold back on that, right? And let them tell you in their own words the problems that they're having with their business, their project, their team, and lead them down the path of self-discovery that maybe what they're doing isn't right, or maybe what they're doing could be better. And you do that really through questioning. Okay. So it's kind of like, let's say you guys had a younger brother and he was dating some girl and you thought that she was absolutely nuts or absolutely crazy. The last thing you want to do is go and say, hey, brother, the girl you're dating is crazy. He's going to be like, oh, back off, and kind of rebuff that, right? Our clients are the same way. If we tell them what their problem is, they're kind of like, whoa, it's suspect. They don't believe us. Back off of me, right? Let them tell you through the series of you asking questions, let them discover in their own mind that they've got issues that you can hopefully solve for them. Okay. Right. What I want us to become is, guys, think of yourself as this. Think of you, anyone out here invest their money. I'm sure y'all have invested your money in your retirement accounts. Yes, no. Okay. So what you want to do is become the Vanguard counselor. So Vanguard, right? Investment house. So they'll help you throughout your entire lifetime. Start to invest your money when you get your first job, help you invest your 401k, help you manage your money when you retire. So you're not 85 years old and you go broke and you're eating cat food. They manage you. It's they're a counselor to take you from 22 all the way through, 102 and make your money last, right? They're not like some penny transactional stockbroker or whatever that's just there for the quick dopamine hit and to take your money. So think of yourself, guys, as the counselor. You want to become the counselor, the consigliere for these folks, right? To use a term from The Godfather. You want to be the counselor. A lot of people call it the advisor. I like to call it the counselor. But again, think of yourself as like that long-term business partner that's there to help them with their issues. Okay. So just type in the chat for a minute. What's some of the things that you would ask to kind of show that you're invested in their business and uncover some of their issues? Type in the chat real quick. What's one of the things you would ask besides, hey, got a job board? And I'll jump to the next slide. Anybody want to type in there? Anybody? All right. CJ says he has a great consistent process from that last slide. Sylvia has a great process. You guys are ahead of the game. Sylvia and CJ. Good job. Good job. Okay. Some of the things that I would ask to expose their issues. What's their biggest issue in hiring talent? What are the critical challenges that they're facing? Maybe their critical challenges are they've got a new product launch and they're behind schedule, or a new software release and they're behind schedule. What are the top 3 business initiatives this year within the company? That could be we're opening a new market. It could be we are closing down a market. Could be we're going to go public, right? Any of those things. What challenges do you have delivering current projects or during peak periods? Guys, peak periods, do you guys always ask about peak periods out there? Yes or no? Type in the chat, right? Peak periods are huge, not only in accounting, which obviously right now is tax time, but in the healthcare profession, right? When you have, like in Florida, snowbirds come down, they overwhelm hospitals. So peak periods are huge in a lot of different industries. What geographies are difficult to find people? Guys, I can't tell you how much business I was able to actually get in my existing customers by asking about geographies where they struggle to fill jobs. So, for instance, let's say they do a bang up job at filling roles in Orlando, Florida, but let's say in Boise, Idaho, they do a terrible job of filling jobs and getting candidates in the door. Maybe you are good at filling jobs in Boise, Idaho. Maybe you can stand up a team and help them. So what I'd say is geography can be a great way not only to get into a company, but to entrench yourself and build loyalty if you're helping them in a specific area where they're struggling. Anybody out there, besides I see Mim Johnson, gotten into a company or been able to entrench farther by not talking about delivering to a geography where every other vendor was failing? Anybody? Yes, no? Type in the chat. Geography can be huge. All right. Okay. Upcoming projects, Q1 to Q3, they should know that, right? And anticipate the number of hires that they're going to need for that. Here's a big one, guys. Do you ask this? Did you place work on hold in 2025? A lot of customers place things on hold in 2025, taking the wait and see approach in the economy. Ask them, are you going to address that now? How will you address it? Resurrection of projects, right? They got put on hold. What challenges are they having with onboarding, retention, and post-sales support? Big one. Do the staffing suppliers place people out here and then they just let them, flap in the wind and they don't follow up and then they bounce off assignment? A lot of staffing companies are bad at these three things right here. Could be your way to further differentiate yourself and get entrenched and gain loyalty. Okay. Strategic changes. Ask us about their strategic changes that they're going to have next year, right? Not next year, excuse me, this year. Could it be an IPO? Could it be moves in or out of the market? Could it be a divestiture? It could be anything. Strategic changes drive hiring. What I say, guys, is a guy explained it to me this way years ago in staffing. We want to look for two things: growth or trouble. Growth makes perfect sense, right? That's obvious. Trouble is things like, gosh, we're moving out of a market, or gosh, we're going to have a restructure, we're going to have a layoff. Oh gosh, we can't get this new product out the door. Things like that, trouble, are great opportunities to come in and do contract placement and further entrench yourself in the account, right? Okay. Okay. So we talked about their pain, and we talked about, if we ask the right questions, we can uncover what they're really passionate about and what they're struggling with. And that's going to help further entrench us in their business, right? So again, guys, try to remember some of those questions and weave those into your conversations that you're having. Okay. Digging deep down, helping them solve their problems, being a proactive problem solver is going to be key. All right, here's one of my favorite pieces. Number 7, gaining client share and relevance. Guys, if you forget most everything in this presentation, please remember this slide. Okay, we compare ourselves to ourselves and we place 15 people on assignment if it's contract, or maybe, 10 direct hires for the year. We pat ourselves on the back and we think, wow, we're doing a great job. And then we go out there and we ask, what's the agency spend per contract for the department? What's the agency spend per contract for the whole organization? And then we find out we're woefully underrepresented, doing a bad job. They're spending $50 million a year on contract services and we're getting $2 million a year. Whoa, that's bad. Okay. Total number of contractors in the company, of course, in areas that you service. And what I found here was, we had 20 people on assignment. Next thing you know, I'm finding out there's 100 contractors in the organization, right? Ask total number of contractors in the department and in the organization. Okay. On the perm side, if you're doing direct hire, total number of perm direct hires from agencies. Okay. So if any of you guys religiously ask this slide, this will tell you the entire size of the pie and let you know what you need to aim at, right? So you're not going to get caught in that trap of placing 15 people, think you're doing a good job, and the customer's going, wow, they only have 15 people on assignment. They're not doing a good job at all. Do you guys ask this in some format? Yes, no, type in the chat. I want to hear on this one. I'm not going to let you off the hook. Yes, no, maybe. I see Don saying on the last slide that West Virginia was an area that he serviced. That's great. Okay. All right, guys. Yeah. Get the entire size of the pie, right? We want to know this. All right. So once you know that they have 100 contractors on assignment, what percentage do you have of the total placements? 5%, 10%? 70%, that's really going to aim your efforts, right? Because you've got to get more entrenched. So also understand too, this is going to help you gain client share. Understand the structure and responsibilities of the team. What do they do? How large are they? What does this team typically need, like from a standpoint of certifications and experience? What skills are hard for them to find? Okay. And then also, what's the impact and cost on them and the team when a job remains open? Do you ever ask that the impact? Are they working late? Are they working overtime? The whole team working overtime. They're about ready to quit. What's the impact, right? Because whenever jobs go unfilled by us or another supplier, there's an impact, financial and otherwise. Okay. All right. Do they ever go outside the HR, MSP, talent acquisition process to locate talent, contractor perm, that is? And what drives it? I think what I found is oftentimes they do go outside this process if they're not getting what they need. We just have to uncover it. And that kind of feeds hand in hand with selling statement of work business and fractional talent. I did a lot of statement of work in my existing accounts where we were working through an MSP because they oftentimes weren't happy with the MSP, and we could go over here, have conversations, get the manager to kind of expose their issues and challenges, and then put together a carve out SOW, statement of work agreement, and start to go and staff projects in volume, right? It's just having the conversation. If fractional talent's big these days, guys, I wouldn't say I would have asked this probably 10 years ago, but it's big today. So again, we're trying to determine, are they getting what they need within that whole HR, MSP, talent acquisition process? Because if they're not getting what they need, it's a great opportunity for us to get client share, come in with a solution, and penetrate that account. Okay. All right, guys. Who here uses org charts still? Ask for them, use them, that type of thing, or are you just relying on LinkedIn and Zoom info? Who's using an org chart? Type in the chat real quick. Anybody? Tell me if you're using an org chart. They're asking for one, if you're getting one. Okay. Nobody's saying, everybody's too shy on that one. Hey, guys, here's the deal. LinkedIn is great. Zoom info is great. All the tools are great, but to me, it's so easy to get an org chart and understand exactly, for instance, how an IT organization is aligned, who reports to who. And then when I want to go and penetrate that account, I just go through a box one by one, check it off, and contact the person that aligns it and organizes it beautifully for me. So what I'd say is, challenge yourself. If you're not getting org charts, start to ask for them. It's going to crystallize and make your prospecting within that customer so much quicker and so much easier. It's like, again, work smart. Don't beat your head through a wall. Get that org chart, just lines up everybody perfectly, and you can just tear through it and make the calls, things like that. LinkedIn, when I looked at LinkedIn, it gives me a company, right? Using Sales Navigator, all that. That's great. It gives me people's names, but it doesn't organize it easily where I can just tear through it and understand, okay, here's the PMO organization. Here's application development. Here's networking infrastructure. Here's all the people and who reports to who. So again, guys, ask about it, because the net, the reason we're talking about client share to begin with, guys, is depth protects your account. It's easy to get rid of you, right? It's if you only have a few people on assignment. Top staffing firms don't take job orders. They uncover business impact. Remember that, right? Highlight what they're getting from you. Highlight the results that you're getting for their business. Okay. Because when you have greater client share and you have greater depth in that account, you're going to be less expendable. Think about it, guys. If you've got 50 people on billing and you're making 20 direct hires a year, you're more relevant, you're more significant to their business. It's too painful to get rid of you, right? You're so entrenched in that account, you're doing so much work there, you're not expendable, you're so relevant, so significant. So again, guys, depth protects accounts. That's why client share is important. Who here thinks you're important when you place 5 people? You're not, right? So key here on number 7. Number 8. All right. All right. Delivering value add. Who here actively thinks they deliver value add other than giving a candidate? Right? Yes, no, anybody? Okay, so people often say to me, "Hey Kim, well, what can I do to add value beyond the candidate? I don't know what I can do." Number one, ask them, "Hey, how can we add value to you beyond filling jobs?" Give them something outside of the industry, like outside of a candidate, like industry information, marketing, salary, skill set data, educating them on workforce trends, sending them your newsletter if you have it. Believe it or not, people read newsletters. They actually like them if they're filled with good content. Okay. Visit on site in a tempo, a cadence, right? The best way to do business still is face to face. I'm convinced of that. Offer LinkedIn lives or workshops or webinars to help them. This is great. Salary info. Yes. Same thing. Industry, marketing, salary, skill set data. All this information, guys, I mentioned this at the beginning of the presentation. It's free. It's out there. It costs us nothing. All you have to do is go and look for it, and you can bundle it up and send it to your clients, in a cadence, right? In a tempo, once a week, twice a month, whatever that is. Who here has done LinkedIn lives or webinars to educate your clients? Anybody? Easy to do. Go out, set up a StreamYard account, invite your customers to it. Hey, I'm going to do a webinar on how you can interview better, how you can use AI in your business, or how you can onboard and retain people better. It draws clients in, it creates that stickiness, and it keeps you top of mind, right? Because your competitors are not doing this. But wait, there's more. Send them an article, right? Feature them in an article that you're writing, maybe. If you have a podcast, put them on your podcast, put them on your webinar, put them in your blog, right? Candidate market. Who here candidate markets on a daily, not daily, but a consistent basis? Tons of value here. No value in me calling up going, "Hey, Kortney, it's Kim again." But if I call up Kortney with a candidate that I know is hard to find that she typically wants to hire, there's value in that. The third one, making peer introductions. Guys, if you're working with CFOs or CIOs or VPs or directors in IT and finance and accounting, or even in healthcare, they may get stuck on a problem. And, if you're talking to them and they're struggling with something, connect them to a peer, someone else that you're working with in a similar industry so they can have a conversation, right? A CIO to a CIO, or IT VP to another IT VP. I did this in local government, connected one county that did an Oracle implementation with another county doing an Oracle implementation, and they got great value out of it, right? Attending the professional association event with them. It's back. I mentioned that before, right? You don't have to go alone. You don't have to go with someone in your office. Invite them to go with you. Great way to stay top of mind. And then you may be going, "Kim, okay, great. Where do I find all this information if I'm going to try to bundle up certain things and add value?" Well, SHRM.org. You can sign up for that. Great information. Staffing Hub. Anyone ever read Staffing Hub? They have a wonderful daily newsletter, tons of info. And then actually, guys, I go out to Forbes, and they have different section councils, like for IT and finance and accounting and healthcare and leadership. Sign up for one of their section councils, and they'll go ahead and start sending you their newsletter, right? And basically industry publications. So there's tons. Just go out there and chat GPT. And if you don't even know, like, let's say you're in manufacturing, what are the best resources, the best publications in the manufacturing space? They'll list them out for you, and you can go take a look, get on their newsletter list for free, and be able to start to provide some of these articles, some of this information to help educate your clients, right? Okay. So there's more. Just to get some easy things you can do. Give them best practices for onboarding and retention, right? Give them a competitive analysis. How do their peers attract and retain talent? Think about it, guys. Our customers, Min and CJ and Sylvia and Don, would you agree, are not really all that good at hiring. They're not good at it. They don't do it that often. They look to us to be the experts. So tell them what their competition's doing to go and get talent. Okay. Give them custom reporting, give data for time to hire, retention metrics, help them with a lot of different things, guys, right? Who here's done this? Stand up teams for rapid response or surge staffing. You guys do that? I love Sylvia. They suck at it. That's great. You're right. They suck at hiring. That's where we can come in and give them that competitive edge for information. So, again, just some other things. Review their job descriptions with them. Guys, this is a great one because it's going to help you. Selfishly, it'll help you. Many job descriptions were written by HR about 10 years ago, and they bear no relevance whatsoever to what they're actually looking for. Offer to go and take those descriptions and help them rewrite them. That's going to benefit you when you go to try to place people, right? Give them separation support. If they have a layoff, if they have a restructure, interview their laid off people, help them point them in a direction. So again, things that just show that this is a partnership and this is a long-term type of thing. Give with no ask, right? This is things that we're giving to them as an added bonus in addition to giving them a candidate. Give with no ask, right? Anticipate their problems, be proactive problem solver, right? And it all kind of fits in with value add. Okay, this is an easy one, but again, I feel like we don't always do a good job. Proactive communication. Who out here feels like they have relied too heavily on social media and email and sometimes not the face-to-face piece, right? Probably guilty as charged. We've all been doing that. So make a schedule, guys. Put it in your plan to check in with them, to cross-sell, to remarket contractors, to give your results, build relationships at all levels of the account. We kind of touched on that. One contact, two contacts is going to equal a lost account. Why? Sylvia, why is that? I think you know this because you're all over this in the chat. I can see. You make one contact, they leave. Well, then now you have nobody else in the organization. You're starting all over again, right? It's like a brand new prospect. Build relationships at all levels. And guys, this bullet is so important. Silence kills relationships. When they don't hear from you, it's not like they assume everything is great. They probably typically assume things are going badly, or you don't care, or you've given up, or you're not doing that search anymore for them. You're not looking for those Java developers anymore. Check in, let them know how searches are going. Silence kills, right? Think about your personal relationship. Let's say you're married, and your spouse just stops talking to you, right? You're kind of going, whoa, that's a problem. Silence kills. Always manage expectations and let them know where you are with things, right? Creates trust. And when things go wrong, I think one thing I've learned is we're all going to make mistakes, right? We're all human. All staffing companies are going to fall down from time to time. And when things go wrong, clients value honesty and transparency way more than they value perfection. I mean, if you mess up, own it. Own it and fix it and admit it, right? They're going to value that so much more than perfection. Here's a story for you real quick. In the late 1990s, like 1999, you had like the whole Y2K thing. And long story short, I went on vacation for 4 days and got back, and we had a contractor starting out at a large corporation. And something dropped, our process dropped, and the background didn't get done. And we found out that this woman she just got out of federal prison, and she had been, if anyone remembers this, has been around from the 1990s. She was in, there was a cult, the David Koresh cult, and they were firing at the FBI. There was a big thing about it in the 90s. And she was in a cult, and it was, firing at the FBI, and they lit this whole building on fire. Anyway, she had done all this time, federal time, and had just gotten out. And it was a big mistake that we made. So I had to get on the phone and own it and call the customer and say, hey, we got a person just got out of federal prison coming out there. What do you want us to do? It was a terrible mistake, and we fell down on our process. The point is, mistakes will happen. Own it, be honest, and they're going to have a lot more respect for it, right? Okay. All right. And that feeds into number 10. easy sounding stuff. Excuse me, guys, I got a frog in my throat. Dependability and reliability are going to build confidence, right? Do what you say you're going to do. If you don't have any intention of doing it, don't sign up for it to begin with, right? So, like when you go out to a client visit and they say, "Hey, can you bring me back send me a salary survey, or can you get me some information about, registered nurses, travel nurses in El Paso, Texas?" If you say you're going to do it, right? Correct your mistakes and do it very right the second time. Replace plus one is what I like to say. Let's say there's a big issue with your contractor. Maybe you give them a couple billable hours for free. So do it very right the second time and replace plus one. So have you ever been out to dinner, Mim or Sylvia, and they drop the food on the floor or they mess everything up? You know, sorry is nice, but we want them to replace, right? We want them to go and give us something for free if we can. All right. Focus on lifetime client value, not one-off deals. This is a lifetime thing. Staffing, long-term commitment, long-term mentality, right? We may not get the payout today, but we may get that payout down in the future if we're loyal to the clients, right? And do the right thing, what's right by them, even if there's no dollar amount in front of it today. Okay. All right. Here are the takeaways, guys. Takeaways. Know what the clients expect. Clients leave us because of inconsistent communication, missed expectations. At least that's what I think I've learned over time. Retention isn't about being perfect, right? None of us are perfect. We never will be. It's about being consistent. It's about communication, right? Not being silent. It's about being credible and about being proactive. Proactive, right? Every interaction you're going to have with a client is either going to strengthen the client relationship or it's going to weaken it. Think of it that way, guys. Every interaction is either going to be strengthening or weakening it, right? So we want to be on the right side of that equation. Okay. And ultimately they're going to become loyal when they like us, we're reliable, we're easy to do business with, when they see value in our service and that we deliver a result and that their expectations are aligned with ours. And they know that we really guys have a sincere interest in their business and their success. Because if we're not sincere and genuine about wanting their business to succeed, they can see it. They can see it. They know it, right? So with that, what I would say is, okay, audit your business, right? Look at everything through a fresh lens. And what 3 actions can you take in your business starting tomorrow to improve client loyalty? What are the 3 things you can do? Is it gaining more client share? Is it mapping out a consistent process? Is it changing something clunky that's not easy to do business with? Is it soliciting feedback? What are 3 things you can do? Don't try to boil the ocean and do all 10. Pick 3 things. Pick 2 to 3 things that you can start tomorrow that's going to start to gain that loyalty and get that deeper conversation going with your clients that builds loyalty. Okay. Kortney, what are your thoughts? I'm finally, the final slide. Here's how you find me, guys. Sorry about that. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Feel free to email me. Again, I do training for the staffing industry. If you have any questions on this or just want to have a further conversation or introduction, we'd love to meet you. So thank you for your time and attention. You guys have been wonderful. I appreciate you inviting me in to spend the day with you.
I love it. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Just who knows? Does anyone else have any questions for Kim? Wonderful presentation, Kim. I love it so much. So much good nuggets out of this whole process.
Good
And
point, Kortney. All this is free, guys. It doesn't cost much, if anything, to do these plans. It's pretty easy. Just think through it and start to execute on it, and it will make a difference in your business. You work too hard to get customers to lose them.
yeah. So I honestly, I saw stuff in the chat like I've forgotten to do that for quite some time. Like, so what good information. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate you. Does anyone else? I'm going to leave it one more time. Does anybody else have any questions for Kim? Kim, I'm sure their note takers are full and their pens have been busy. So I appreciate you. This will also be available via the recording. So check out that email as it comes through, and also will be dropped as a podcast. Kim will send you all those goodies whenever we get to that point.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Go out there and build some loyal clients. Thank you.
That's a wrap on this episode. If this one got you thinking, just wait until you hear what's coming next. We're dropping a new session from the FDE Plus Q1 event every week. Each one a different speaker, a different topic, and a different angle on what really takes to build relationship-driven revenue in this industry right now. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. We'll see you there.